Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, initially, means this clinical development and this forum was means in this symposium in the scientific because of the SSC committee members. This was introduced for that the career opportunities are many high for the pharma professionals and the new drug development should be included. Unfortunately, because of some health issues, Dr. Shrudeep Sinha is not able to come, and the chairman was there. I was praying God, Sai Baba, that this why the it's happened only now that we have only three speakers. God has graced so much that one after the other. First, Arnam Vishala Madam has come for us, and she has graced. Her wisdom will be very much helpful for us. And then we have Dr. Mahendra Patel from Oxford University, so he will be also helping us, and he will be taking next session for us. And Dr. Ramkishan sir and Srivastava Madam. So we are very much honored in this symposium that we have very wisdom experts here, and I would like to take very brief in a different scenario, thinking of the future of this because now we have the guidelines in place and we have the development conventional method of approach how we are doing the clinical trials. So most of you are aware that I am just mentioning because my presentation theme was on pharmacovigilance, but the development of the product and the post development of the product, the entire life cycle of the product mainly focuses on the safety for the human race. So are these products really safe for the humans? That is most important factor. So how many of us have reported adverse event? One, very good. Two, only two hands in this entire so have you really not faced any adverse events, or have you not required any medicines at all? Have you took any time medicine? Have you faced any events? No. Okay, whenever you have taken the medicine, if some event has occurred, definitely you will feel that okay, chalta, next day it will subside, or take an antidote or anything which mother gives. So this is the main setup of mindset that we have already filled in ourselves, that we are not. What is the problem? Where the complexity? So in this presentation, I was thinking again, I will only that we will take away the ABCD of the entire the basics, that is. So, but my ABCD is mainly on the current requirement, current era of the requirement. That is, automation is one factor, and the biologics, the new biological molecules, and the consumer safety, the primary important where we see for the human race safety, that is more important. And the what is the digitalization, how we can futuristically develop in this. So these are the ABCDs which I am speaking of. Yeah. So the entire clinical trials, very simply, the experts have already means visualistically told their guidelines and also the development process. But it is not that simple, my friends. It is more complex, where the entire data sets that complex from the various areas. It is the trial that happens across the globe, from the functionality point of view, from the supply, from the study, from the project and resource point of view, and the operation management. So this is one factor, and at the same time, in the top line you can see the supplies, IRTs, and the central lab parameters, and also on the CRO activities and the site activities. Apart from that, the statistics involved for the data which is obtained, and what is the outcome of that, and the entire data management. So the more important, which Dr. Prabhakar Reddy or Dr. Subhash has clearly said, that data is more important. So we are evolving into a big data. So from last 3 decades, we have seen many products which have been well established. Do the entire thing, the safety is well established? Though we are the generic, we call it as so much things we call it as, but long term safety, still the under reporting process still exists in there. So unless that, though the regulators are putting all their efforts in developing in a very good guidelines and implement in the entire country and the entire cross countries, because I will give you the global perspective later on, but still the data of reporting is missing even from the professional front of view. So we as a pharmacy professionals or the healthcare professionals, the reporting is completely stagnant. So it is nil, I would say. If you see the data of the statistics published by the PVPA or CDSCO or any other regulator, you can see the data published. That is the reason you have seen many understatements of the any product. Complete decision cannot be made because of this improper or the small data. The other trial complexity or the data volume, that gradually that is it. So previously in the past, where we were used to do the paper based trials, and the lack of data transparency, the sponsors and CRS implemented multiple other methods. Now we are into a cloud based system where we have an enormous data, and now interestingly with Professor Mahendra Patil we are also seeing about panoramic trials, where that is the going into the bigger way of a worldwide scenario of the data that can be obtained. So this type of data, once we have to be in place, we have to document it properly, because we have multiple tools. So the same way, how do we documented this? So entire understanding on the complexity, because it is not a simple game from the regulatory compliance, because we have various guidelines, treatment emergent or the product specific guidelines from the other regulators, USFD and also on the protocol designs and the complexity of designs, because of the madam was telling the CMC data and everything that has to be come into the picture from the development, from the preclinical stages only. All these aspects has to come for the dossier preparation for the the CTT application. So this all requirement will be fulfilled when we go through complete guidelines in person. And the data collection and analysis, we have multiple tools, the SDTM or whatever the data, the big data, that is the more important thing, which where we are the biggest lacuna. The end message is where we have to capture, we have to report it. So coming this, where we can also many times I will give you the various examples when we were reporting safety concepts, why this data lacuna has created into much controversies in the decision making. So until unless the risk management plans or any other translated versions of the rescue measures of the any risk will not be obtained. So the overall means from the planning of the clinical trials, this clearly stages. Sorry, I went to the previous slide. So the from the patient enrollment point of view, the complexities in the clinical operations we know it, and also the study design and the investigational product. Yes, definitely, though you have the multiple diary systems or the patient handling system, the compliance with the drug medication is always in a problematic. So in that aspect, even the reporting point of view from the site or from to the regulators or to the sponsors, always there is a liken. So those things were our responsibility to report. That is the reason we came up with this safety concept, where everybody by now know this basic definition of pharmacovigilance is completely detection, assessment and understanding and prevention of the adverse drug. So when do we say, so any product that we receive, whatever the event apart from the desired therapeutic effect is an event. Okay, so that has to be reported. What is the primary requirement? So what I know that this is not may or may not be related. So if it is related to the drug, then it is called adverse drug reaction. If it is not related to drug, it is an adverse event. So there is no causal assessment between the drug and the event pair. It is adverse event. So all the adverse events need to be reported as per the regulatory guidelines. So don't assume yourself or don't presume ourselves that it is an event or not. So anything happening after the medication intake need to be reported. Whom to be reported, how to be reported, just we will go into the quick glance about that. So why we need to have this reporting is, first, insufficient data from the clinical trial. Now you understand about the clinical trial, there are 4 phases of development initially. Yes, the 5th phase, phase 0 only for the special products, but these 4 phases wherever it is under the controlled conditions. What are the controlled conditions? Because there is an inclusion exclusion criteria in every protocol. So there we have the limited number of patients who will be always be tested with the specific criteria. However, in the routine clinical practice, the patient will have comorbid conditions, concomitant medication that the patient receives with multiple things, that will have a different impact. That drug or food drug interaction or the habitat will be completely, that will elicit different type of adverse event. Those type of events is not been captured in the limited clinical trials that we are speaking about. And majorly it is always dying from a disease is unavoidable, correct? But knowingly that the dying from the unacceptable adverse events. So if you see the statistics metrics in the global data, adverse events is the top 5 leading cause of death It is not the cancers or the cardiovascular. It is the adverse event also is the leading cause of death. When we know this, how to prevent this? There are multiple. It is the reporting and knowing. So what will happen if we report? Those all things we will discuss. And the second thing is, it is always more costly. I mean, when you see the cost analysis for every treatment, adverse events giving the more cost related exits beyond the medications. So that's the reason we have to report that, so that the pack inserts or the prescribing information can be modified by the regulator or the sponsors or the regulators will be approving that, where that will be also an educative knowledge to the human race. And the other thing is, yeah, definitely promoting rational medicines, and also the most important is ethics, where we always need to have ethical principles that we have to safeguard the human race from the adverse events. So these are the primary principles that we have to take up. Yeah, this event everybody is aware of that, where more than 10,000 of individuals have been affected with congenital anomaly, where the drug, the patient, the offsprings was developed with fecomegaly. So it's a next generation is also affected with this type of. So after that, if you remember the 2022, there was an NDMA factor in the losartan and other proton pump inhibitors. The European agency, once it has triggered that there is a carcinogenic causes, and most of the social media was, I think these are you are aware of, right? So when you are aware of this, immediately only few means 2-digit number were affected with this or hundreds of means we were able to prevent the human race affected with us, and the product was withdrawn from whoever manufacturing this, and then a subsequent other medication was given without having that one excipient which was produced from that mark. So that is the one area of safety reporting will help us. So these are the various adverse events from the history. So as we discussed, what is the difference between adverse event and adverse drug reaction, and the other one is the most seriousness is serious adverse event. So whenever the serious comes in place, it is any untoward effect that leading to outcomes such as disability, death which is completely unwanted, or congenital anomaly like thalidomide issue, and any other medical event like cancer or any other medical condition, and as well as any life-threatening causes or hospitalization. So routine hospitalization for any treatment is not the serious adverse event. Any hospitalization after the treatment or after the hospitalization, a prolongation of the hospitalization is a serious adverse event. That is the hospitalization cause. So all AEs recorded must be observed. As we have discussed, any event post the intake of any medicine that need to be observed. So what is a basic requirement in any clinical trial or post marketing? The basic understanding, these are the following requirements. The duration of the event and the severity of the event, the seriousness, causality, action taken, and the outcome. These are the must. So I think most of you are aware of the difference between severity and the seriousness. You are aware of the severity and the seriousness, Ruby. Seriousness, we have just defined what is the seriousness, right? And severity. So severity is the grade, mild, moderate, and severe. So we will have the severity of the event where any skin rash or any other event that happening, that is the severity range. It may be mild, it may be moderate, and it will be severe. So those are the severity grade. So ultimately the outcome of the event need to be also be captured in the every CRF, the case record form or the electronic case record form. And we need to make every effort to follow up the subject with the adverse event until it will resolve. I'll give you an example within a vaccine study back in the decade ago in the meningitis vaccine study. The patient, the human healthy volunteer was given with the vaccine. However, his vitals in the one of the visits was completely shooted 5 times higher. Definitely it is a clinically significant value. Whether after the vaccination, definitely it has to be reported. We have reported in this. But what is the condition that was still getting higher values? So a patient counselor as a principal investigator, it was in the NIMS hospital, as a principal, when we were interacting, the patient profession was into a bulk drug manufacturing unit where he was getting exposed with the acetone and other type, where his eosinophil counts were automatically very high compared to but it was not vaccine. But to yield this evaluation, we were following completely with the patient for the 8 weeks, where it was, we have asked the patient to refrain from going to the work, and we have made that wages as per the protocol, means whatever it is done. So after 1 week of follow-up, when he has not visiting his work profession, automatically eosinophils levels will count down. So then we have made it the outcome of that, and it is not related to the vaccine that was administration. So the external factors that are involved in such type of events, we have to be very careful of that. So similarly, where in liver cirrhosis patients, the patients were given one of the test drug, and it was been monitored. But one of the patient was completely getting into the every day the abscess or the stomach upset was completely as complaining. So we were not able to, because the other patient the outcome was good and this patient was different. What we were closely observing, because the entire crew was there, the clinical trial, we were observing. So daily in the evening, the patient attendant used to come to the hospital to visit him. So this son used to come as an attendant. So he used to give during his visit, he is come and he will give the pickle to him, because his father will not eat without pickle. So though we are trying to make the medication investigation with that for this your patient, the other external food factor which is causing him has to be identified, and then we have documented that with this evidence. And so most of the time the events occurring with the other than the product also need to be documented, and then it is related or not related is to be evaluated. And more importantly, many times proactively or we propose the product is attributed, the event is attributed to the product. So where we mentioned it as serious, and many times that was been evaluated by the regulators, because they receive the data from the across all the manufacturing authorization holders. So they will evaluate, and many times they have downgraded the event because they are aware of the bigger scenario where they are receiving from the country. So that way the regulators are also helping us in the stabilizing such information. So these are the already most of you are aware this information, the reporting criteria for any SAE to be reported within 24 hours of its occurrence. So the principal investigator has clearly has to be completely report within 24 hours to the CDSCO, chairman of the ethics committee and the sponsor, and an analyzed report within 14 working days. So here I want to differentiate one thing. These are the reporting timelines for the clinical trial product. So the product in the evaluation investigation product, and the post authorization, the PMS studies, once the product is authorized into the market, that product have the different timelines where we have serious and non-serious. That timelines are for serious it is 15 days timelines, and non-serious it is, no one aware of it, non-serious it is 60 days. So the serious events in PMS, post-marketing surveillance, is 15 days. The serious criteria in clinical trials is 24 hours. So please don't get confused with that. And rest everything from the after the reporting, the regulators have different timelines even for approving the compensation to the affected subject. So the initial report, just in brief, the SAE forms which is CDSCO driven should contain the 4 minimum criteria: the subject details and the reporter details, the two, either the healthcare professional, self, or some of the relatives of the patient, and the other two is the product and the event. So these 4 minimum criteria need to be available for reporting in any event. So the basic report, the initial report which is there in the 24 hours format, these 4 events should be there for reporting, and the other analyzed report should have the other information on the complete drug details or the details of the events that occurred during after the event has occurred, and the criteria of seriousness, and the definitely all the reports of this should be signed by the investigators to the. So this is the basic template of the reporting adverse event, where you can see the section A, patient information, reporter information, and also the serious adverse events like fatal or life threatening, any other case, and the output of it. Whereas the SAE onset data and the whether how it is resolved, what is the rescue medication that we have given to protect, what medications, the study medication that the patient has received, and to prevent the event, what subsequent medication has been given by the physician or the treating physician or the healthcare profession. So the complete medical history, complete laboratory investigation of the patient should be there in the analyzed report before reporting it to the CDSCO. So this is a full description of the event. There is a checklist, you can download it. It is on the public portal, a SAE checklist. So based on that, you can report to the CDS. And even if it is non-serious, basic information lies the same, where we have to report it to the agency, regulatory agency. So there is a big checklist, we have to fulfill that. And is also in clinical trials, the pregnancy outcome based on what we have defined in the protocol, that has to be reported. So if the product is of exclusion criteria of pregnant and lactating women, then that is the first thing which happened during the reproductive age women need to be avoided from this product. But either the patient or patient partner develop the pregnancy, that has to be reported either in the pregnancy form, exposure in the pregnancy form, or pregnant partner information release form. So these are also one of the requirement in reporting in the clinical trials. So likewise, what we have discussed, post marketing. When we say about post marketing, one front. So there are in post marketing we will receive the primarily the three types of events. One is purely the adverse event, where the patient, I'll come from bottom. So any adverse, so a patient would have has seen the product is discolorized. So the organoleptic character, or it tasted differently. So that is a product quality complaint, where in the manufacturing that has a defect, or any chemical combination mixing of the product is in a product. So that is a product quality complaint. Out of seeing that discoloration or the product quality complaint, still the patient has received the product and it has developed into an adverse event. So both the product has elicited the product quality complaint as well as the adverse event. So it comes into the product quality as well as the adverse event or the pharmacovigilance complaint. When we have these two type of complaints, it is the investigation between the plant quality assurance as well as the pharmacovigilance professional. When we do the complete analysis, that investigation report, based on that investigation report, we have to document and report to the agency. And only the product quality complaint, by seeing the product discoloration or different thing, where the subject has understood that it is product quality complaint and the product has been not ingested, only the product quality complaint that has to be reported to the manufacturer QA, and they will be doing the complete manufacturing plant QA investigation. And only adverse event which will be directly reported to the MAH or to the agency, that will be completely, means from the now in this will to be completely analyzed at the pharmacovigilance department and has to be reported as per the pharmacovigilance guidelines established in 2018 January from the Indian regulations. Again, the valid and invalid criteria. So when we see the product quality, then I think an important factor is valid of case. So we are not authorized to validate a case. The experts who understand the pharmacovigilance expert, my team is there, Sindhu, Shrikant and the other team members here. So they continuously do this activity for the validity of the, whenever the reported case is received. So the 4 minimum criteria that we were discussing of the patient, reporter, product and the event. So based on that, the validity will be evaluated. And so sometimes the literature cases which we receive for that particular product, where there will be incomplete information will be. So the team will be following up with the literature, the publication or the authors to get the more information of that case until we get the complete information, then we validate. And so the invalid cases will has to be completely documented in a tracker, whatever the database or whatever that we have, and we have to maintain that until the follow-ups. We have to make 3 follow-ups with the reporter or the author in a literature cases or any other. So 3 follow-ups information we have to get it, and then we have to make it a complete report of that event. So please go for. So this way the validity, and again the expected and unexpected events. So whenever these products events is already known during the development phase, That those are the expected events, whereas the unexpected, so susar are the primary unexpected events which has to be immediately reported to the agency. So these are the reporting timelines which we were discussing, that 15 days for the. So when this day 1 or day 0 starts for any product is from the day when you are immediately aware of. So as an image, if I am not aware, I mean my marketing partner or an end healthcare professional who has received the report first time, from that day the report has started, the day has the countdown has started for the 15 days calendar. So sometimes what happened, my partner in Africa or in US, they would have received and they have kept the case for the 5 days and they have shared with me. So I can't say that today I have received, from here I will count the 15 days. It is from the day when they have received, because my partner, business partner, when they have received, the day 1 start. So hence we will have an agreement in place, that is called PV agreement or safety data exchange agreement in place, so that the timelines between the two partners will be well defined and they have to abide to that timelines. So this way the overall compliance of reporting a serious adverse event within 15 days is possible. Sometimes again we are working globally for almost 60 countries, where the country locally expect to be reported in local language. So if I make it at on 14th day, the local reporting person, the PV personnel, will have a great challenge that they will not able to meet the 15 days. Hence we have the internal timelines of making it as a 10th day we have complete and send it to the country representative, the QPPV or the PV personals, and they will translate into the local language and report within the 15 days. So the 15 days, irrespective of the other activities, translations or sharing communication between your country representative, we have to report regulatory authorities within 15 days. Why we have to report? We have initially discussed the safety aspects. Yeah, these are, so some countries have 90 days, some countries have 60 days for the non-serious event. However, overall, and again the additional to the pharmacovigilance where we were discussing, we need to have the aggregate. So all the listed list of one particular product events will be accumulated, and we will do the analysis of that and then prepare a PSUR, periodic safety update reports, because each report is a vast, so I will just giving a narration of that. And from that, and the PEDARs, we say for US FDA we prepare the same type of similar type of reports as PEDARs, periodic adverse event adverse drug event reports. So the PEDARs are for US FDA, whereas EU and the other region we make it as PSURs and EU PEBRA reports, benefit risk evaluation reports. So now what we have already understood, this all data that the adverse events is a big burden, and it is a completely under-reporting is a big concern in various across the globe. And more importantly, when as an image I have product in multiple countries, let's assume the same product is there in India, US and Australia. So the origin of the event, adverse event, is in Australia, though we report it to the Australian Health Authority, the TGA, but at the same time the cross reporting of the safety has to be done to India as well as the FDA, US FDA, CDSA and FDA. This cross reporting timelines is also still remains the same within that 15 days timelines we have to report. So this way the cascading of safety information for the common moieties across the globe will be reported within the timelines. So overall, coming to the next pharmacovigilance growth rate, market ratio is very high from 2021, it is 6.1 billion and it is going to rise from 2030 at a CAGR of 35%. So because every product that is there in the market need to have a pharmacovigilance in place. Whereas, so every marketing authorization responsibility to report this. So it is just to make an awareness that there are a lot of professional career opportunity, but you have to one students has to undergo the trainings on the pharmacovigilance, mainly the guidelines and the how to report, apart from the professional language that you gain in the pharmacy, that pharmacology knowledge that we obtain it. So raising the other AI concerns, so I'll give some time, but in brief that the artificial intelligence or automation that we indigenously developed with our team is mainly because these timelines to meet. Initially we used to face some challenges because we have reported to India CDSCO, but as a human, the errors of reporting to US FDA or EMA agency has been forgot. So we have developed indigenously automation of PAS, the Pharmacovigilance automatic alert system, where it is developed by .NET, and we have made because the initial zero date, day zero, IRD, initial receipt date is been entered, so that the every event after day 7 a trigger email comes to us that this has to be reported to so and so country. So the initial pass log will, once it is updated, so our team is aware of that, because though we are operating in various countries, the trigger email will clearly give us after day 8 it will into orange color, after day 10 it will be in red color alert email that we receive. So from last 6 years we are able to maintain the timelines without any delay because of this automatic alert system. So in one factor, that automation that we have developed with this. And also whereas reporting pattern also, where we use certain safety database like Argus or IRIS-G or some other thing. Now we do use Argus. So what we have done is, with this interfacing of Argus with the reporting pattern, and also the electronic submission gateways include. Axway is one of the submission where we include. So the submission of the data from our global office directly, it will go into the US FDA reporting criteria or EMA server. So this ESG gateway will be developed with a certification program for every MH. So that is one factor where on the same day it is getting reported to the US FDA and we are receiving the electronic acknowledgements. So there we are also maintaining the compliance with that. And such automation development now we are trying to make in literature, because every product when we search the engine, almost in a weeks we receive around 10,000 for each product. So that hits need to be seen manually when we review that for the validity, and so it was very challenging. So now we are trying to develop a tool where we want to minimize where the common key factors, where we minimize, and automatically it can develop the validity of the cases. So this way we are maintaining this what you so called artificial intelligence or automation into, they are assisting us. This is assistant intelligence in our drug safety. So this way we are improvising the compliance in regulatory reporting, also maintaining the complete compliance for the products that we are developing. So the entire concept here, only simple message is, with the AI, please ensure that you understand these concepts and to minimize the process or process improvement in reporting or maintaining the compliance, but reporting the data, because now the volume, when we start, everyone start reporting the volume of big data, will definitely will add to the scientific knowledge and the therapeutic effects of the drug. And one more important thing is, in future the conventional development of discovery molecules will be gone, because AI developed products, because of there is an copying is also prevented, patent protections, everything will be. But again, we know the structure activity relations of every class of the drug, where which are the pharmacophoric group, which are the toxicophoric groups are clearly evident. From this support of the AI, definitely we can eliminate the toxicophoric group and have a more concise structure of the pharmacophoric, which elicits the desired therapeutic effect, and more precise, less less safety events should be occurred and protect the human risk. That is the only aim of developing or utilization of this automated tool should be used. So that's the main criteria where we have to think about developing ourselves. Of course, there are many other challenges in the technology when it is implemented, but the next generation highly intellectual than the current generation, definitely they will find out the other routes of preventing the challenges, right? So more focus towards this automation, like what we have seen in process, either use such languages for automation in PV or in clinical trial, for process automation or interactive information. So one such information is where the ECGs also be transmitted to an means through the IoT to the other regions, where the healthcare profession, second independent evaluator can do the evaluation report and submit to the clinical trials. Those still also can be used with this or any reasoning type of. So the entire complexities can be reduced with some this type of languages. Various other tools can be used for this. So yeah, futuristic development use AI for learning, improve ADR detection by the like what we have seen the class of drugs, because now we have enormous data that we presume, but it is insufficient data. Still we need reporting. Hence I request all the professionals to keep reporting the safety events so that we get a big data. From that a value elicited events can be evaluated by this AI or the this blockchain systems, and complete real world data, a predictive analysis of what type of safety concerns we may predict from this class of drugs when developing the new products. This type of event and pharmacovigilance is completely can be adopted to make it more personalized medicine and definitely protect the human race. So with this in short sum, each one can reduce the suffering and thousands of patients can be saved by reporting serious or the suspected adverse event reporting.
Thank you so much, Sridhar sir, for sharing all your experience and insights on PV. So, and we are really proud of being into PV department as well. So, I could see most of the students are here. So, as PV is one of the booming field as a career opportunity, so we are expecting questions from them. So,
Hi, Sridhar sir. This is really a wonderful session, and I think you're very clear in explaining each and every concept. So I have two questions, sir, because you're from a marketing authorization holder, which is Hetero Pharma. So first question for me is, what is the frequency of product complaints that that you expect every time from public after the product has been marketed? So that's one question from my side. Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on the product where it is manufactured. So like us, when we have initiated there was completely under reporting, as we have said, but our team has completely enforced all the trainings to the country representative, marketing teams, and everywhere. Definitely, it was also a pressure or the guidance from the regulators. So these trainings has improved. Now the volume has almost increased 8 to 9 folds. So there are adverse events, but it is completely from the healthcare professionals or the adverse patients. They have to report, then only the documentation of the data. So the frequency cannot be means as such we can mention that, but every product has different based on the product class. So some of the well established safety profiles there will be less frequency, but for the onco, for the antiretrovirals, definitely we will have more frequency.
One last question, sir. What is your opinion on having solicited programs? How better it is happening in India? Are solicited programs or active surveillance happening properly in India? Forgetting.
Yeah, active surveillance, a big question, though the regulators are clearly written in their approval letter clearly that in a complete means the PMS studies need to be done or any solicited, but unfortunately they are not there, means it's not but we have implemented an SOP in place and we are putting pressure to get these trials to be conducted and also the patient oriented studies, but unlike other pharma companies we are not into direct marketing, hence most of the things are not applicable, but we are insisting our partners when we are training to have these programs in place.
Yeah, what question from
1 minute, madam,
so
please.
I want to add on that pharmacovigilance is not only for the company and the regulators. All the stakeholders have to be equal partners in that, because this is something you are doing for the society. So you need to contribute. Everybody has to contribute.
Yeah, one question from my side, sir. Sridhar.
Yeah, madam.
Yeah, you were focusing on all the aspects in all the angles. But in case if any adverse drug events which has been posted to the social media, okay, so could you brief on how do you validate the case? Because many a times through the social media we may not get enough information while validating the case. Sometimes it may be closed or opened case?
So yeah, social media is one of the controversial topic, but what we have developed is in a global ADR form, which is app based also. So the reporting of the safety information or in a particular subject privacy information, which need to be correctly routed to a pharmacovigilance department. So whereas yeah, EU has the Data Privacy Act also. So similarly, other agencies, other countries are also similarly have. So these are the safety information of one particular individuals. Always the data privacy. It may be a clinical trial. It may be a pharmacovigilance data. It need to be shared to an appropriate authority. Means professionals in that. So our data, you can also check that ADR. Form.hetero.adr.com directly it will open anywhere from the globe. You can in the so we have made it an editable PDF so that every healthcare professionals or the patient can directly report and just a press of button. It takes hardly 5 minutes to report that 4 minimum criteria. Then further my MICC, medical information and call center, will follow up with them and get the additional information to document the complete analyzed report. So social media reporting any particular information, though it is my friend or anybody, or if I have anything to be reported, social media is a not right platform. However, certain people that we are doing, we were trying to explain that it is not correct, but we have a team, means our corporate communication team, what we have developed to just check the whatever the social media. So if we do the entire social media searching apart from where I am the image, it is impossible act. But where we have developed the social media like LinkedIn, Facebook or anything, those continuously been monitored. But we always mention this clause that the reporting of the adverse event to be done to an appropriate personals in the pharmacovigilance of the MAH or to the regulators, directly to the regulators, not in a social media where the Data Privacy Act will be misbreached. Any other question?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, chairs and everyone.
And with the permission from the chair and co-chair, Vishala madam, and Sridhar sir did 75 days hard work, madam, for the designing, develop. So, madam, for this Indian Pharma Congress, 73rd Indian Pharmaceutical Congress, 72 speakers identified, madam. So, this homework started with the support of me and Vadlamandi Rao sir and Sisla Ramakrishna ji and Roop Kumar Khar sir. So, please give a big hand to him. And he is also convener of Scientific Services Committee. On behalf of Local Organizing Committee, we are thankful to our respected Vishala madam, respected Swati Srivastava madam, they are my colleagues. So it is a big honor, and pharmacovigilance is very interesting and questions are so interesting, and after 2-3 years we are going to streamline all the important challenges of the pharmacovigilance system, and we are going to have more number of ADRs. At the same time we will have more safety assessment and we are going to have stricter regulatory compliance. So thank you very much, sir.
A few words from me. Thank you, Dr.YSridhar Reddy. It was a wonderful presentation, very lucidly made. You had brought in the importance not only from life cycle approach for a drug product and its future development, but also how to reduce the safety issues with a drug or a class of compounds. So actively reporting is the most important thing, and gathering these data sets for future understanding of how these products behave in a particular race or ethnicity or regional variations. So it's very, very important a topic, PV, as an upcoming field where AI tools can really bring out those outliers and reduce the product developmental pathway, or we can have safer drugs. It was a very nice presentation. I congratulate you.